Hey guys, welcome to episode 10 of A Dose of Two. My name's Heather Kopfer. This is Shelby Ryan. And today we are coming to you to record the same video for the second time. Why?
Because the internet hates us.
And technology sucks sometimes, but
a lot of the time.
Today,
moving on
from our hatred. Today we're going to be talking to you about 3 television shows and 1 movie that's out there available to you to have an opinion on and for you to watch and add your comments in on what we think. Because we're stoked about these 4 things. You should be stoked about these 4 things. Shelby?
Yes.
What's the first thing we're going to talk about today?
I'm stoked about these. The first thing we're going to be talking about is Big Little Lies. Now, this is a TV show that is on HBO. I personally have only seen 1 episode, but Heather here has binged the entire first season. And
3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
As long as your rental.
Oh, we went over that rental.
We'll go over this again.
So Big Little Lies. This just recently renewed for season 2. So the first season was good enough to get a second season, but
so many fingers.
So many
3, 4, 2.
It's going up to season 6. But okay, so I watched this series about 2 months ago, a couple months ago, whatever. My friend Erica brought it over and was like, "Look what I got off of. Look what I got off Redbox."
Number 1, I did not know Redbox had TV show rentals. That's weird because you would think like 24 hours you don't have long enough, but it must be a longer rental.
They're encouraging binge watching.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have 24 hours. You need to finish all 36 episodes.
I think there's only 8 episodes.
Okay,
in
well,
the
just
first
bring me
season.
down. Just bring me down.
Which is how I feel it typically goes for newer series because they want to see, if it's good enough to get a second season, people will like it kind of thing. But this television show was awarded 8 Primetime Emmy Awards, including Best Lead Actress in a Limited Series. That was awarded to Nicole Kidman.
Of course.
Of course. Best Supporting Actor in a Limited Series, which was awarded to Alexander Skarsgård. And then we got Damien pulling up in the driveway right now. Laura Dern actually won Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series. And what I think is really cool that actors get to do sometimes is work together on different projects. So Laura Dern and Shailene Woodley actually worked together as a mother and daughter relationship in The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, it's that lady.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who that is.
So in The Fault in Our Stars,
they were good together then.
Yeah, they were great. Laura Dern played Shailene Woodley's mother, and Shailene Woodley's character had cancer, so the mom, she was a mess, she was distressed, so they worked together on that project, and in this series, Laura Dern is a rich bitch. All right?
Laura Dern, you rich bitch.
Rich bitch. And she has such a good character arc, too, because the character, in the first episode to the last episode, she has such a character, again, like I said, character arc and transformation, which was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
And, she won an Emmy for it. It was phenomenal to watch that. Also, Zoe Kravitz, who plays one of the mothers, I forget the character's name, but her and Shailene Woodley work together on Divergent.
Yeah.
The series, it was super well acted, obviously.
They had
They had so many nominations.
So many big names too.
Yes.
And I know we had talked about this before, we looked up their budget and they said it was less than $10 million an episode because that's the budget of Westworld and they're not there yet. But that almost blows my mind because to me those actors would be getting paid more than that, so they must have all been like, oh, we're gonna have everyone, we gotta understand our budget's gonna be lower.
They got Reese Witherspoon, who was nominated but didn't win an Emmy, but she was nominated. You got Shailene Woodley, again you have Nicole Kidman, Alexander Skarsgård. Got it, Skarsgård. So he damn well deserved that Emmy nomination because he played a rapist, abusive husband. What a character that was. And specifically throughout this series, Shailene Woodley's character was raped. That's how she has her son. And throughout the whole series, they're trying to figure out who the man was that raped her and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so the very last episode, which also won an Emmy for Best Costume Design, it was amazing.
Nice.
And they're going out, the abusive husband is running after his wife because she's scared of him. Nicole Kidman. In distress. Yes. And then also Laura Dern is following, and then Reese Witherspoon is following. Like, so they're all leading up to this one area. And you have those 4 moms together. And then the abusive husband walks up. And the realization on Shailene Woodley's face when she's like, oh my God, that's the guy who raped me. And then Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman and Laura Dern like looking over at her and realizing that's the guy that they've been trying to figure out. And Nicole Kidman is like, that's my husband and all this stuff. Just that moment where that light just kind of switched on in all of their faces was so well done and so cool to watch. I was like, damn. So, I'm super stoked that this is nominated. I'm stoked that this is renewed for season 2.
It's nominated for a second season.
It's nominated for a second season. No, it's gonna have a second season. Anyways, moving on.
Anyways, Big Little Lies. Heather says stamp of approval. Meow meow.
No, that cat is always outside.
I know. Okay, so Big Little Lies. Heather gives stamp of approval. It's good. It's great. It's at Redbox. Apparently.
Go watch it. If you want to see some great, phenomenal acting, worthy of your attention, and 8 Emmy Awards, go watch this show. You will love it.
Worthy of your attention. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about, I don't remember what we did in the last video, but we're going to talk about Thor today.
We're going to talk about Thor today.
So, as you will probably notice, Thor came out a few weeks ago now, and so we seem like we're late on this. We weren't when we originally filmed this, but let's move on from that.
We're still very bitter.
Very bitter, as you can tell. Number 1, great movie. Go see it, because it's definitely worth seeing. But I do have to mention off the bat, there were a few flaws, specifically with the writing. So there was like also I've seen it, Heather has not seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Thor, but I've heard a lot about Thor.
She's heard me just talk her ear off about it, basically. But, so when you see it, you know how most superhero movies, there's like that beginning, I would say like 15 to 25 minutes of like a completely different story. It's kind of like them fighting like a random person, or them the different superheroes meeting each other, or the superhero getting introduced into their story. You kind of have that like expose, and you get to be reintroduced to the characters.
Yeah, and to add on to that, that's something that someone like me, who's only seen every superhero movie once, I need that 15 minutes of recap, because I have no idea which superheroes belong to what universe and what happened in the previous movie that came out 2 years ago. And I'm not going to go rewatch.
It's connected to this one and this one.
I'm not going to go rewatch a 3-hour movie just so I can understand this other 3-hour movie that I'm only going to watch once again.
Yeah. Well, I would have to say this Thor was made for the Marvel fans. Like, this one's for the people who know the movies and are fans of it, because if you didn't, you would be like, oh, who's this, and then who's that, and then how that happened, and how'd that happen? But anyways, my main problem with it, again, it didn't have that beginning, like, introduction part. It was like balls to the wall in the climax the minute it started. It literally, like, the beginning, the very first scene, Thor is like trapped or whatever, and he's literally like in the whole storyline already. Like, that's it. And then they kind of introduce the characters in the way that, you know, like Thor would be like, oh, Loki, you mischievous man, and Loki's like the god of mischief, and like things like that. So you kind of got like a feel for who they were, but it really did, like, it just went in, and it didn't give you much of an introduction. And from the minute it started, like, I would say 5 minutes after it started, it went so fast, if you blinked, you could have missed a part that made a huge difference. I ran to the bathroom for like 2 minutes, and I missed an entire introduction of a new character who was in it for the rest of the movie. And like, I'm not even kidding, like, I feel like that usually takes a little bit longer, or you see it happening, but I did not see this character coming, and then all of a sudden I missed a character.
Yeah, I listened to this movie podcast, and they were talking about Thor on one of their episodes, and that's, they didn't like the movie at all because they explained how there wasn't...
Number one, they're wrong. It was still a good movie.
Well, I can see how it's a great movie for people who are...
For entertainment
purposes. Okay,
movie.
Not exactly for storytelling purposes, or for people who are directors and are more into the story arc and the storytelling aspect of it, because they said, like, there was no rising action. Like you said, it starts here and it's up here the entire movie. There's no, like, slowly no, it's just go, go, go.
Yeah,
go.
it literally is like here and it goes, and then the very end it just drops off, kind of. Not even really, like, even the very end, like, there's not much of a after of it. Like, they win, and then, like, the movie's over, like, 3 minutes later. So, yeah, it's, like, go, 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 and it never stops. And that's almost, as, like, a moviegoer, it's almost, like, exhausting, because I feel like sometimes you need those, like, slower scenes, or, like, more relaxed moments, or, like, because when you're, like, heart is racing the whole time, and Thor is in trouble the whole time, and this is going bad, and this is going bad, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this anymore. I need to relax for a second. This is just too much. So it was a bit like that, but moving on from that, it was so much more like Thor in the comics, very tongue-in-cheek. If you like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think you'll really like the writing, because it's funnier, it's quippy, it's really fast-paced, it's really quick. I don't know if I can say this a million times. It was really, really, really funny. Thor was absolutely hilarious.
Chris Hemsworth. Ooh.
There's a part where his shirt is off, and it's not even fair. I went and saw it with an older gentleman from my church. He's got to be like in his 90s. Chris Hemsworth comes on screen with his shirt off, and I was like, oh! And he was like, pray for me. Pray for me.
Yeah, it got really great reviews, and like it has like an 8 out of 10 star rating on IMDb, so it did well. It made lots of money. It made a lot of people happy, so I'd say that's a success.
Yeah, it's really a bright movie. The director of its name is Taika Waititi, he's a New Zealand director. He's actually a different director than the prior two Thor movies. They went with him because he's more kind of new age director. He's definitely has like an interesting take, and he does a lot of very like interesting backgrounds. Like the color scheme of the movie was just really cool.
It was more 80s is what I heard.
Yes, because the Thor Ragnarok comic arc came out in the 80s, so they made this like a very 80s movie, and you could tell like the music, it had that synth in the background, and then it had really, really bright, colorful scenes, and it had the neon like Thor Ragnarok at the beginning, and it had a bunch of like 80s Metallica and different kind of things. It was really, really well done. So anyways, overall, really good movie. If you're looking for like a movie that's gonna win awards because it has the best writing in the world, you're looking in the wrong place. But if you want to be entertained for like 2.5 hours, you're looking in the right place.